And what's up, guys? Welcome back to Maverick here with another episode of Yuukoku no Moriarty. So, we finished last arc with a resounding victory for the Moriartys. They've now got someone within their influence into Scotland Yard, right? In fact, a very important position within Scotland Yard. So now they got the government behind them, they got the police behind them, and apparently they are about to pull off some so-called Moriarty plan, right? So I guess maybe we'll get a glimpse of what exactly they are trying to do for this series, like their ultimate goal, how they are going to execute it. Well, we know that what their ultimate goal is, right? They want to remove corruption, remove this sort of class difference and whatnot, and in many ways, I guess you could say incite a class revolution here. But apparently they don't want to do it through a very bloody way, a way that will completely disrupt England and whatnot. So let's see how exactly they want to pull it off, right? And once again, Sherlock still at this point is just a bystander. He's just a puppet in the grand scheme of things, but at least he knows this. So I'm still looking forward to the day when he's going to be, I guess, not quite exactly an obstacle to the Moriartys. They are the sort of protagonists of the series after all, but at least more of an active contributor, or you know, taking on more of an active role, right? So with that in mind, let's get into the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Alright. Okay, and yeah, we also have this guy as well, who's probably the actual antagonist of the series, I guess you could say. I mean, this is the first time someone comes directly face to face against the Moriartys, while knowing what they actually represent. And like, what's your role in all this? Like, do you have plans of grandness? Yeah, originally I thought Milverton was actually someone working with the government, or something of that sort, right? Because I'm sure, you know, even though we've got Sherlock's brother, Mycroft, in the government, and he approves of what the Moriartys are doing, there's certainly room for, you know, various factions and whatnot within the government, right? Mycroft isn't the end-all and be-all of the English government, or the British government. Actually, I never really paid much. Huh. They're still showing Irene, eh? And I guess in that last shot, they show her Bond appearance. The Merchant of London. The Japanese title there actually read The Witness of London. Yeah, I wouldn't say so. If you had one loaf per day, you'd probably finish it. Anyways, that's kind of beside the point. Huh. I'm kind of curious, though. Why are we suddenly going back to when these were back at the orphanage once again? Who would want to swindle an orphanage? Like, come on. Jeez. Talk about distasteful. Hmm. I'm curious, though. He certainly doesn't look like a bad dude. Maybe something happened? But since they're going to go through all this, I guess he really was just a bastard, eh? But why would you need like 300 pounds from an orphanage? Like, that is... Yeah, like, dude, you got this entire... I honestly don't understand. Yeah, someone like this doesn't need to swindle 300 pounds out of someone. Nor do they actually need 300 pounds in the first place. Yeah, look at all this. They definitely feel like something is up, right? So it's definitely not about the money. It's about something else. What could it be, though? Like, was he... What is with this? I mean, to me, the only thing that kind of makes any sense is if somebody asked him to, like, purposely knock the orphanage out of commission. Are they going to get robbed somewhat? Like, why would this guy need to get 300 pounds from these people? I don't. What? I, hmm. And honestly, if something like this happened in the past, how did these two not become like world super famous throughout London already? Like, I don't get it. Like, how much of this is true? How much of this is false? I just don't get the intentions of this guy. Like, if he was trying to continue, if he was to continue to try and hold on. The funny thing is, in modern day, this would not fly because you're actually not allowed to enter a contract that would do yourself bodily harm. But of course, that is with modern law practice. Oh, so are you saying you can skin him? Alright. Oh. So how are you able to place your stake order if you have no cash? With that being said, though, like, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of, I'm kind of anal about all this because it doesn't work this way because the judge has already sustained this particular interpretation, right? So once they made that sort of statement, then immediately at that point, Moriarty would have to argue this interpretation and then allow the judge to make the final judgment there. Yeah, you can't make the judge. Oh, and he's basically insinuating that he's gonna remove the pound of flesh from his neck, which would definitely kill him, eh? Oh, finally somebody with half a brain. Why is he our enemy? I don't... Alright, I think there may be a little bit after the end of this, so, Oh, and I forgot to... Yeah, I'm not sure about this particular episode. Eh. No, I don't know. Maybe 300 pounds back in the 1900s, the turn of the century was worth a lot of money, right? So that's why that guy goes around to swindle that amount of money. You see, my entire thing with this is, like, why would they even want to do something of this sort, right? Like, their entire estate, their entire, it would definitely be worth much more than that. But, I mean, alright, whatever. Obviously, we're watching this to see Moriarty own the guy, right? Like, you got owned, you got pawned. But, this one is, ranging on the much more ridiculous to me. Alright, so what? The king of media? Alright. Yeah, I feel like this case would actually be widely publicized. Alright, and now he's like, this is a trap that I laid and whatnot. Alright, and here's the preview. So, anyways, I'll see you guys after this. Alright guys, so about this episode, right? Like, I'm just gonna be upfront and say it, I don't really like the way that they structured this particular story. Like, I get it, they want us to understand, hey, look how badass William is, right? Look how he's able to outsmart his adversary, or something of that sort. And then also, basically, paved the way for the following arc here, where Milverton is digging up these old evidence of what William has done and trying to uncover his true identity, right? So I get all that. I know that they're trying to set it up this way. I just feel like they are somewhat overreaching a little bit and trying to make something out of nothing. So making this clever play on Shakespeare, look at how cultured William is, and so on and so forth. But it just, like, I don't know. Okay, so one thing I can maybe kind of relent on is the 300 pounds thing, right? So 300 pounds back in the early 1900s is worth, I believe, about 35,000 pounds today. So that's not an insubstantial amount of money, right? Although I would still argue that for an aristocrat to be swindling his way, with an orphanage for that kind of money, I don't know. To me, it's still kind of iffy in regards to the entire situation, because you gotta understand one thing, right? Something that we've been seeing up to this point is that these aristocrats, they absolutely have a lot of pride and they want to save a lot of face, right? Basically, having to do something like this and basically confess in court that, hey, I don't actually have any assets under my name, I'm borrowing assets from a friend, and really, you're basically almost admitting to the world that, I'm just an aristocrat in name only, I'm actually a loser, I don't have any assets, and so on and so forth. I'm just assuming this lifestyle, right? I don't think that really fits the MO of the aristocrats that we've seen so far, so I don't know. I just feel like in that sense, the entire motivation for this particular aristocrat doing this kind of thing is not really there, right? I would have preferred if instead they thought of a different kind of story to do all this, but like, I just don't like this setup, right? I don't like this setup, and I don't like how the situation was resolved in the end either. Like, I mean, we were all waiting for this aha moment from William, right? But here's the thing, though. I don't really feel like that argument makes a lot of sense, right? Like, here's the thing, just as a quick counter argument right immediately, basically William is arguing that, hey, because due to how this guy Baxter, how he normally orders steak, he's not assuming that the meat is the blood is removed from the flesh and so on and so forth, and so because of this precedent, I'm able to remove flesh from this guy without bearing any sort of heedance to the blood and whatnot, right? That's his entire argument, right? And sure, on the surface level, you want to be, oh damn, look at him, he's rendered the other party speechless. But look, a really, really easy argument here. If you are trying to argue intentions and basically you're arguing the point that because this is what the defendant has already inferred, and that is how his mind normally operates, thus I am entitled to this, right? Oh, here's an easy defense. I mean, it's very clear that both William and the guy, Baxter, they entered this contract knowing of this entire Shakespeare story of the Merchant of Venice, right? So, under that kind of circumstance, you could also argue that under Baxter's assumption, by entering into this kind of contract, he does not need to, he is implying that he only needs to comply if through some miraculous kind of technique or whatnot, William is able to remove his flesh without removing any kind of blood, right? You could argue the case that on Baxter's side, hey, he enters this contract because, we have this precedent, right? And so right? And maybe he's like, okay, if you really have this sort of technique, you're still willing to enter into this kind of contract, then be my guest, right? So just in that, things still get a bit murky throughout all that, and basically I don't really feel like this is really an aha moment, right? You could also argue that maybe his lawyer is just kind of incompetent and whatnot, but really this is a pretty easy argument to refute. So I'm not really sure this is a really an aha moment if you really think about it for more than a few minutes here. Yeah, and not to mention, like, I'm not going to go into the semantics as to how court cases usually do, because on one hand, I'm not exactly professional, and on the second hand, this is stuff that happened within the setting of, like, 1900s England, right? So maybe they do things, maybe they'll hear court cases differently there. I would certainly think so, but would it happen in this way? Probably not. But what I'm trying to say here is that I don't really think that argument really makes much sense there in terms of the resolvement of the situation here, right? And not to mention what's it called? Actually, did he say he rescinded? Well, anyways, I don't want to argue. I don't want to dwell too much on that. You guys should already understand my point here. So I would have been entirely glad to watch William outsmart the adults and whatnot, outsmart those corrupted aristocrats. But really, I would have preferred if the entire motivation made a bit more sense, and also the entire setup made a bit more sense as well. Anyways, like I said, we are clearly setting this up for this, this long game, right? So it's made clear that William purposely left this court case to be found out, and so potentially this Milverton guy is going to play a major role in this so-called Moriarty plan, right? He clearly has already prepared for this, and in fact, he wants someone to discover this case and also make some actions, make some moves against him, right? And by the way, Milverton, it seems that they are, by their description, right, owning news media and entertainment industry and so on and so forth. I guess they're trying to prop him up as some sort of Rupert Murdoch character, right? A famous media mogul in the modern days and whatnot. Australian, English, American, whatever. He owns media in all those countries, right? So maybe having that kind of reference there as well. I mean, sure. They're trying to. How can I put this? So, in any case, we understand that William is planning something as well, right? This is all still part of his master plan here. So, I mean, that's basically all we can basically get from this episode. Again, I don't really think we discovered too much else in regards to, William's intelligence or how he helps the orphanage and whatnot, and so on and so forth. We've always knew that part of him, so we don't really learn much from that. Really, the main focal point for this episode should be that, okay, Milverton is on Moriarty's tail. Moriarty is aware of this, and they're about to have this big showdown, and this is actually all still part of Moriarty's plan, right? So it's still 100% within his grasp, within his mind games, within his grand strategy, his grand plan for everything at this point. And to me, once again, I do hope that something unexpected happens soon, because I want to see Moriarty's reaction to that. I want to see them, their crisis management skills, and how they take on a situation that popped out of nowhere and they're having to react on the fly, right? Because, I don't know, to me, I mean, sure. In this case, you could also be satisfied with this. Oh, look at Moriarty. Look at how smart they are, and being able to plan all this out. But I also kind of want to see them really pushed into a situation and having to react from that point on, right? So yeah. In any case, that's it for this episode, and let me know what you guys think about the entire case and whatnot. I know that maybe sometimes I have this tendency to go a little bit more serious, or look at this from a more serious point of view than anything else, but I mean, I've kind of already set that tone back in season 1, right? So, I mean, if you guys are still watching on from this point on, hopefully you already understand that this is the kind of attitude that I take towards the series and whatnot. I mean, don't get me wrong, the times when it goes completely crazy and whatnot, I still enjoy as well. It's just that, it's the ones that are kind of in between that really gets me, right? Where it seems that they're trying to make a really realistic situation and so on and so forth, but still sprinkling a lot of, to me, completely stuff that is completely out there and that shouldn't really happen at all, right? That's the point where I'm kind of like, I'm not really sure if I enjoy this particular aspect of the series, right? So this episode, not exactly for me, but I am still interested to know what you guys think of it. In any case, that's it for this episode. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.